Welcome to Megapath Presents. I'm Ronnie Hayes, and today let's talk the sneak peek. The right-hand man, sneak peek. This is the spoiler discussion. I'm waving my head around like a nutcase. I don't know why. You can't even see me. Anyway, this is a spoiler discussion. Let me just clear the air right now. If you're not familiar with this channel, I hate spoilers. I do not support them. I normally don't talk about them, but because of how crazy the cliffhanger was, and because of how, widespread the rumors and spoilers and leaks, because of how widespread that became, we're just going to discuss them because we've seen stuff in the sneak peek that is hinting some of the spoilers might be true. So if you haven't heard the double death spoilers, or if you haven't heard the Rick, and Carl and Negan shit, then that's what we're going to talk about. So you might not be interested in this video, but if you have heard them, chances are you have. Stay tuned because we're going to get into that right now. The first thing, the double death. Now, this sneak peek actually gives me some hope that we don't have a double death. It didn't feel like it, but there were some moments where Negan said, hey, you have a right-hand man? Which one's left one of these people? I butchered that, but you know what I'm saying. The way Negan said that, he said, oh, maybe one of these that are left alive. Now, if you just killed one person, maybe that wouldn't really seem like a big deal. I don't know, maybe that wouldn't line up. But in all honesty, I feel like you can have one death and everything Negan says is fine. Because he even says, maybe the person that is Rick's right-hand man is the one who got, and then he's, shows Lucille, makes it look like he beat that person to death. So I'm wondering, do we get 2 double deaths with Lucille? I think that would be interesting. I mean, I just find it such a shitty cop-out to have a double death and have one person not, die brutally by Lucille. If you're going to kill 2, just do them both under the bat, don't stab one, don't shoot one. But that's the spoilers. The spoiler is, I think, the main one that I hear all the time. Apparently, and I don't look into them, but this is just a quick summary. Apparently, Glenn gets picked. Either Abe interrupts or Daryl interrupts, but long story short, because there's different variations, Glenn dies, Abe gets stabbed or shot or whatever, and Daryl gets beaten up or some shit like that. And they take Daryl. That's why Daryl's poncho is there. And in the sneak peek by the blood pile might lead to confirmation that a woozy Daryl tried to get up and tried to stop it, and he was beaten up, pushed, or maybe Dwight took him away, and he was so woozy he just went. And that's the big thing, because that poncho is either there because he's a victim or he tried to interrupt, and I don't like that. But long story short, they kill 2 people, and then Negan goes over to Rick, and Rick is like, I'm gonna kill you. Now we see all this in the sneak peek, Rick telling Negan he's gonna kill him, and then Negan takes his hatchet and drags Rick in the RV. Now the rumor, or the spoiler, is that Negan takes Carl and Rick to where they burnt up the trees, and he beats up Carl, and then he tells Rick to cut off Carl's hand, and then Rick gets his hatchet and he goes to cut off Carl's hand, and Negan's like, oh, I was just pushing you to the limits to see if you would do it. Now that I know you'll listen to me, I won't kill all your people. So that's pretty much the spoiler, and there's multiple different variations of that I've heard, but that's pretty much it. So that's where people are running around saying, oh, it's true, it's true. Negan took Rick's hatchet and he's gonna do this with Carl, which I hope not, because it sounds so amateur and so bad, so poorly written. I hate it. Now, given they could do something like that on screen and do it so well, I might change my mind when I see it and be like, no, guys, I thought this would turn out shitty, but they did a very good job. But it just sounds shitty the way it's told in the spoiler community. It just sounds horrible. But this doesn't look like Negan takes Carl, because he just takes Rick into the RV, and they go in there for a good couple of seconds, enough for the camera to pan down. He doesn't call for Carl. He doesn't have one of his guys grab Carl. If he was gonna take Carl, wouldn't he do it there? Wouldn't he take Rick and Carl right there? You know what I'm saying? But what's interesting, though, too, is how much of this is in the comic. Like when in the beginning of the sneak peek, Negan is talking about Lucille being a vampire bat in the comic, and then he says, oh, is that a bad joke? Well, the beginning of the sneak peek actually starts with Negan saying, oh, what is that, a bad joke? Implying for comic book fans that that's where it starts. It starts after Negan calls Lucille vampire bat, which I wonder why they cut that out. You know, maybe it shows too much and they had to start it there. I don't know, maybe he curses. I don't know, something. But I thought that was interesting. And there was also more, too. But then even afterwards, after Negan's done beating Glenn to death in the comic, that's when Rick says, I'm going to kill you. Now, it's cool because the way it's done in the comic, you have a Rick who's, you know, he's foaming at the mouth with rage. But here we just have a Rick who is almost accepting of what happens. Oh my God, someone I care for just died brutally. And he's like, you know what? I can't fight right now. We're outnumbered. And I think it is that line, that delivery was perfectly executed, perfectly delivered by both Negan, his stuff by Jeffrey Dean Morgan, but also Andrew Lincoln's shit, where he's just like, not today, not tomorrow, but I'm going to kill you. On this screen, it was like, man, I'm outnumbered today, and I know that. But I'm going to play along, and I will kill you. Now, in the comic, Negan says, your best chance is to do it now. Stand up and put a knife in my neck, which actually foreshadows, a lot of fans look past this, but it actually foreshadows how Rick defeats Negan in the comic book by slicing his throat, you know, which is interesting. That's exactly what he says to him after killing Glenn. Stand up right now and put a knife in my neck. Or he says, take your axe and put your axe in my face, something like that. And it's interesting how they have that line, that get your axe and kill me with that. But then he says in the show, what does he have, a knife? And he's like, no, he has a hatchet. And Negan's like, a hatchet? So then he takes his hatchet and drags him into the RV. But what I'm saying, though, is so much of that, it's exact dialogue directly from the comic. But it's wonderful. I love it. And you know what, to be honest, here's the thing. I really hope the spoilers are not true. I hate the spoilers. I hate them, man. Not just for being spoilers. I know I pretty much would have rejected all spoilers, you know. Probably. If it was just Glenn, if it was like, oh, he beat Glenn to death, and then he does some, you know, shit, and the mood is really down and depressing, I would have accepted that. I would have been like, okay, whatever, whoop-de-whoop. But having a double death, I'm really disappointed if that is true, because, again, what's the most amateur way to top one death in the comic book? You know, what's the easiest way? To kill two. To kill more than you did in the comic. You know, to kill three. I don't know, I'm so disappointed, especially now that I was going back and looking at the previous work that Scott Gimple has done as a showrunner, and others too, the past season 6. I'm making a very positive video breaking down some behind the scenes stuff, fun facts that you don't know, or foreshadowing some details. I don't have a video like that for every single episode, but I got these special videos I want to start dropping that take a little time to do, a lot of research, and I started really appreciating the work Scott Gimple has done on showrunner. I think he's a wonderful match for The Walking Dead, to be honest. A handful think he's a bad showrunner for The Walking Dead, and I disagree. I strongly disagree. I just stand behind Scott Gimple 100%, absolutely. But when I hear about this double death, it just truly disappoints me. Because again, guys, you can't deny the easiest thing to do is to double what the comic did. Instead of being creative and say, oh, well, okay, we're going to have this one death, but you know what? We're going to put this scene in after that. We're going to drag this on. We're going to extend this in a way that they're not going to see coming. It's not going to be ultra violent. It's going to have this tension. It's build up. We're going to make Negan take Rick to the hilltop. Negan's going to lay him down on his knees in front of the hilltop, put the people in the hilltop in their place, you know? Show him the guy who they sent to kill him, yada, yada, yada. That's difficult, too, because now that I'm thinking about it, I thought they attacked the hilltop in the trailer, the Season 7 trailer. But I don't know. If you guys want this conversation to continue, I do want to do a fan feedback video based off the sneak peek. I don't really want to get into any more spoilers, any in-depth stuff, but if you want to talk about the double death spoilers, your thoughts and opinions, and the sneak peek, I'll do that much. So leave your thoughts and opinions in the comment box. And these podcast style videos, these I can usually put up no problem in between. So if this is a lame video or I ramble or whatever, guys, keep in mind it was either this or nothing. So these are bonus videos. I just want to put that out there because I feel like if a video doesn't take me half a day to put together and make and edit and all that, I feel like it ain't worth nothing. You know, so you let me know. I will go off of your feedback if you completely dislike this type of video. And I mean a lot. I know there's some people that don't like, you know, a video without somebody on screen. which is odd because there's channels that never go on camera and they flourish. They do better than channels where you're on camera. But you give me your thoughts and opinions, some suggestions. It's all up to you. Put those down in the comment box. I'm done talking. It's your turn.
Subscribe now.